Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And wave goodbye to the people on the docks, folks, because you're never going to see them again. That's right, it's time for our Jungle Cruise Spoilercast. All right. So, Dragon, this has been a long time coming, man. Way back when Disney was developing kind of like, oh, we got pirates, we've got Haunted Mansion, but most importantly, we've got the damn Country Bears. The Country Bear Hall. But anyways, Dragon, I've got a lot of background on this, but suffice to say, this movie is almost kind of an enigma, and it feels kind of surreal that it's actually out now at this point, because I've been following the development of a Jungle Cruise film of some kind since I was a teenager, just straight up, probably since I was a young teenager. So, Dragon, this is definitely one of those movies, like, it's weirdly, like, it's kind of like Deadpool for you, except without, like, the foaming at the mouth levels of anticipation, like, at a certain point, I was just kind of like, all right, well, the Jungle Cruise movie, if it ever happens, it happens, but, we'll get into that, but first and foremost, Dragon, I want to just throw it to you first. What did you think of the Jungle Cruise?
So yeah, I was very kind of casual about this one when it was announced, and getting the trailers and everything. Of course, then global pandemic happened, so it really was not on my radar at all compared to the various other delayed things like a Black Widow or a Free Guy, which we are now on the precipice of getting both very soon. But yeah, I mean, the movie itself, having seen it, I'm a little split on the movie because I think it was good overall. The first half outshines the second for me. It's just that I think it plays better. Overall, particularly that first half, it played a lot better than I expected it to. Again, I was just kind of going, okay, well, it's nice doing Jungle Cruise and all that, and just kind of doing a little bit of an adventure fare. But I mean, that first half, though, give it credit where credit's due, man. There's a lot of Indiana Jones DNA that I really appreciated in the film, mixed with the charm of the attraction itself, which I think kind of leads it to be a really nice adventure film. So that's what I'm loving about the movie. But I think it overshot things with the twist.
Big time.
It becomes two movies that, I mean, individually aren't bad, but I mean, they don't fit together. So they're incongruous. It's just that it doesn't fit together seamlessly, and it's like really jarring. It's like, well, now we're doing this movie. I really like that first movie we were doing, but this other movie's not bad. It's just not that first movie. So that's where I'm at on Jungle Cruise. I liked it, but I think it could have been very simple. It's only 2 hours, like a little under 2 hours. I mean, there's not a
it's not like it's like a 2 hour 45 minute like Pirates of the Caribbean epic or anything, So
yeah, it could have been just so straightforward. I don't know why we complicated things.
Okay, Dragon, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page. This is one of those movies where it's like the stuff I like about it, like thinking on it, I like it more and more. Like, I think the stuff that works really works, but the stuff that doesn't work really doesn't work.
Yeah, this movie's far from perfect.
Hey, Dragon, guess what? Welcome to what it feels like to be a fan of the Pirates movies.
So that's what that feels like. It.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh man, when it fires on all cylinders, you're really feeling it. But yeah, that it's not perfect. That probably there's a little bit too much silliness in there. I feel very similar to you, Dragon. I quite liked the whole first half of this movie. Honestly, I really have a lot to say about The Rock's character. I think The Rock is it's like he's popular for a reason, man. He brings the charisma. And honestly, I think his character was definitely my favorite part of the twist. I do think we do way too much of the supernatural stuff. And Dragon, my whole equation with this is like, it feels like somebody wrote a vehicle for The Rock and Emily Blunt, kind of like a Romancing the Stones kind of like romantic adventure movie vehicle. Yeah. And then they had some leftover supernatural elements from Pirates of the Caribbean, like some, from Pirates of the Caribbean sequel or something. And Disney was like, well, you know what? Down the river plus supernatural stuff, we could do a Jungle Cruise movie. Like, Dragon, unfortunately, this doesn't feel like what a natural Jungle Cruise movie could have been. You know what I really wanted this to be, and like I was holding my breath that somehow we'd get some sort of Society of Explorers and Adventurers reference, because this very much could have been a jumping off point for a Society of
Well, I
Explorers.
mean, we kind of got that. We didn't do anything with them, but they were there, kind of.
Kind of. They didn't get name dropped though.
No, they didn't. No.
I was like, okay, well, and you know what? I'm kind of glad they didn't get name dropped, because like that mean if they did get name dropped, we probably would have had to attach them to this movie. So you know what? We kind of dipped our toe in the sea well for this movie. But yeah, overall, Dragon, I like it. I think there's quite a few fun set pieces in here. I think The Rock and Emily Blunt have really good chemistry. I honestly really like the brother character. I like most of the characters, honestly. Plemons is there doing his all. He's having a fun time. I do think that if I were to cut out any of the plot lines, Plemons would probably be one of the first to go. Paul Giamatti's, he shines in a really small role, but he's there, so overall, I think this is a really fun movie. I just think it just gets kind of muddied by the supernatural elements. I can concretely say I think this movie would be all the stronger if it didn't have any supernatural elements in it. If it was just like a treasure hunt movie or something like that.
There's a lot of they should have leaned a little bit more indie, a little less Mummy.
Well, with the Mummy, I mean, I'm glad you bring the Mummy up, because that's obviously the other comparison, and it is kind of like, honestly, Dragon, I don't mind the Mummy feel.
I don't mind it either, but I'm just saying with the supernatural, that's where your Mummy stuff's coming into play.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But you're right. In terms of your characters, there's kind of a Mummy model. There's nothing wrong with a Mummy model. It's just, well, if we're doubling down on the supernatural, then it becomes the Mummy. But for the next generation.
Right, of course. And honestly, Dragon, I have a feeling that this movie is going to go over pretty well with general audiences.
Well, once everyone can see it on Disney Plus, yeah.
I don't think it's doing great at the box office, just because, frankly, fuck everyone who put us in this situation that we're in right now.
I think I think the real point is like none of the movies are doing good right now. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
none of them are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're all making okay money, but let's face it, everyone when you can make okay money, you can be making better.
I don't know. I'm really discouraged about that whole thing. But that's
the point being, everyone's getting a little crazy about financials of the movies right now. Let's just say that much.
Oh yeah. Right. So Dragon, once upon a time, way back in 2004, the year after Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl broke records and shattered everyone's expectations, Disney greenlit a Jungle Cruise movie. Dragon, do you remember the stars of said Jungle Cruise movie?
Well, I could have sworn it was 2003, but I could be completely wrong about the year. But let's say, if I recall, wasn't it a famous duo by the name of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen?
Yeah, and Disney was very much marketing like, hey guys, we're never going to make a Toy Story 3, so this is just as good.
Yeah, it would have been the first time, I want to say, the first time they would have worked together in live action, because I still don't think it happened.
I don't think it ever happened. Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty sure it still never happened.
So, and the idea is that it also would have taken place in modern day as well. So that was that I don't know. I remember that being something where it was like it got a lot of traction, but for some reason, I think what killed it was the Haunted Mansion movie, honestly. Because after the Haunted Mansion movie, everyone at Disney was kind of like pumped the brakes. They knew that Pirates was a reliable franchise, and obviously they ran that into the ground. That's a whole different conversation. But with the Jungle Cruise, they really felt they needed to retool it, because Haunted Mansion was another movie where it was like starring a famous comedian set in modern times, kind of giving the attraction a bit of a lighter tone. So Dragon, a lesser known incarnation of Jungle Cruise actually came about around, I would say, probably 2008, 2009 or so. And Dragon, do you know who was going to play the skipper in this incarnation?
I have no idea.
Going to be Robin Williams.
Oh, hey, what year was this? 2009?
Right around 2008, 2009. And Dragon, this you're not going to find much about this officially online, because I'm pulling from my own memories for this stuff. I don't even know if it was ever officially put pen to paper, but I definitely know that they had conversations about it. I know that, at the time, obviously, Disney and Robin Williams had very much patched up their relationship since then. I believe, didn't was RV a Disney movie?
Well, Barry Sonnenfeld did that. I don't know. I don't. My instinct is no, it wasn't a Disney movie, but I can't tell you for certain. I don't think that Barry Sonnenfeld really made any Disney movies, so I don't think
Okay,
so.
that's fair. That's fair.
But interesting thing though. I mean, this would be after '06, which is when Robin Williams did Night at the Museum, which I'm sure maybe caught some eyes of like, yeah, make Robin Williams an adventurer.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because yeah, it definitely, that's probably what got people into the mold of like, and not to mention they also wanted to go back to a kind of like either a World War II or World War One setting. There's not a lot of detail on the Robin Williams one. Like I said, it's a lot of rumors and hearsay, and
I think he would have been a bad choice for that role, though.
I think he would have been a better choice than Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, honestly.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. I think it'd be a bad choice if just given like the DNA of the skipper in general, which is you have like the dad jokes and you have the basically you stick to the script sort of lines. That's so counter opposite to who Robin Williams is.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think he could have played around with it. It depends on the script. But of course, that never really got off the ground. And for a long time, it just kind of sat dormant, Dragon. And I swear to God, I am pretty damn sure that this movie kind of came about just because Disney was essentially like, well, we want a Pirates of the Caribbean, but Pirates of the Caribbean itself, is not a big name brand like it used to be. Like, essentially, we milked that cash cow dry. So, Dragon, not to be cynical about it, but this was a very corporate movie in a sense of like, okay, let's see. Pirates of the Caribbean. And like I said, Dragon, I am sure that like, I don't know, like, I can't confirm it, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if the villain plot line with the conquistadors was recycled right out of some unused Pirates of the Caribbean concept. Like,
it feels like it.
But they got that, and then of course Emily Blunt, fresh off Mary Poppins Returns. The Rock, always a he's like a rock solid, pun intended. He's evergreen, Dragon. He's an evergreen star. He's never gonna fade. So I really feel like this movie was made to try and be another Pirates. And honestly, I feel like, ironically enough, the movie succeeds when it's not trying to be Pirates, and the supernatural stuff, as we already established, is kind of what drags it down. So in a lot of weird ways, I feel like as we're going to break it down, I feel like the movie kind of succeeds in spite of itself. Like, this movie, it's like trying to be as corporate as it can be, but like there is some genuine there is some genuine, like, really cool sparks of creativity and imagination and adventure in this film if you look underneath the kind of the corporatism of it all. That's all I got.
Okay.
All right. So, Dragon, let's line up in the queue, shall we? Before we take the actual Jungle Cruise itself, let's set up the plot. Let's set up the siblings. Let's set up what's going on. Dragon, since I did the backstory, would you like to take on the stupidly elaborate backstory of this movie?
Well, I mean, I can give you not like a full-on synopsis, but I can tell you essentially what's going on.
Go for it.
All right, so we set up the story of the Tears of the Moon, which essentially is it's a tree that has these healing petals. Basically, it's a cure-all. Cures sickness, curses, the whole 9 yards. It does your taxes, all that sort of stuff. The tears.
I'm genuinely surprised they didn't just go the whole 9 yards and make this the tree of life.
Yeah, I mean, all intents and purposes, it's kind of basically it's the tree of life that blooms at the sign of a blood moon. It's like the tree of
life mixed with the Pandora tree.
Yep. All right, so Dr. Lily Houghton, Is that how we say it, Houghton?
Huden, yeah, I guess I'm not really sure.
Because it's so weird. Every time when we got this movie, for a moment I thought like, wait, are we going to send up to John Huston? Is that what we're doing with the
Uh-huh.
name? But no, like Lily Houghton, Lily because of the flower. Get it? Get it? She's stuck on the.
Get it.
Anyway, so we had Dr. Lily Houghton and her brother McGregor. They steal this arrow from Prince Joachim. Hopefully, I don't get executed for saying that wrong. But let's just go with that. Prince Joachim, who is essentially a kind of a high-ranking German soldier here, basically wants to pull a first Avenger here. He wants to only for World War I, wants to take it and basically help the Germans win the war.
Okay, so Dragon, we got it. We got to break down. We'll talk about the siblings shortly, but we got to break down Plemons, man. What did you think of Plemons? That's the $1 million question.
Okay, I'm sorry. One bit with Plemons before we get into it. I'm sorry. So essentially, we gotta steal this arrow from him, take a boat, and find the tree. Basically, your standard Indiana Jones here. Anyways, about the Plemons. So, yeah, I really like Plemons in this role. I like them.
I like him in spite of him being a little bit superfluous to the plot.
I wish he was the only villain in the movie.
I do too. I think if he was the only villain in the movie and maybe we got Giamatti as a secondary villain.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Giamatti as he stands as like kind of like not like he's not like I know he's a mustache, but not the mustache twirly villain. But just him just being the antagonist to being like to our big bad guy being Plemons, I can live with that. I think that's good.
But Plemons definitely has a presence, and we'll kind of break him down more as we get into like the dark side of water category. But I just want to kind of put a flagpole in him. So Dragon, Emily Blunt and Jack Whitehall, what do you think of them as a brother-sister duo? Because of course I feel like a lot of people are mentioning this, and I very much agree. Strong mummy vibes, and I don't say that in a bad way at all.
Yeah, Emily Blunt, she continues to impress as kind of our Indiana Jones type here. We made her really proactive. We saw her steal the arrow at the top. Yeah, it's the whole thing being she was essentially she's the little girl validating the tale of whimsy she heard that kind of inspired her to kind of go into the kind of the scientific exploration kind of vibe, kind of the exploration of it all, the thing that the society frowns upon, women in pants exploring, pshaw. Yeah, I thought she was I thought she was great. I think her. I really liked the dynamic between her and her brother, particularly. I think Jack Whitehall. Here's the thing: I knew Jack Whitehall from Good Omens. He has a role in Good Omens.
He's nice! I need to get caught up with Good Omens. I know season 2 is coming out soon.
Well, not that is anything really soon, Tiki. So I don't think you have to put a rush on. It's only 6 episodes though, so But yeah, so he and Michael McKean, they're like the B plot of Good Omens. Like the two of them are paired up
How did I not know McKean is in it? I'm sure you've told me before.
I did.
Greg, so, I need to watch Good Omens now. That's it. I'm doing it. I'm taking the plunge. I'm doing it.
Well, the point being, Whitehall, he was. Here's the thing: I wasn't crazy about that B plot, but he was good in the show. I think he really excels at this role here, and I think the bond between the brother and sister is really showcased excellently in the scene. The scene where we learn that we essentially imply that McGregor here he's gay, and his sister stood by him, and I thought that was a really nice story point. We made a really nice, genuine scene. We didn't like draw gobs and gobs of focus to it. It just happens. It makes sense, and it works. And we don't have to be like, hey, let's draw like a fine point on that one Cruella character that it's like, hey, we're doing it. Where we actually do.
Yeah, Dragon, the whole thing, let's just break that down a little bit, because the whole thing about the first gay Disney character, it's a running joke at this point, right?
But I think we actually did it right here, though.
I agree, but it's like, let's go down the list. Like, of course, I would say LeFou is probably just like that's just like, oh God, like, what were you doing there, Disney? What were you doing? Then you had the one from Onward that you barely even noticed. Do you even know about the one from Onward?
Well, yeah, we had the cop character.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like one reference, and I mean that's fine, but that's what I'm saying. It's just very natural. Again, I'm not trying to put down a picture. I think it's just kind of fitting into the thing. Okay, well, at least we acknowledge it. We didn't make a big,
And
huge
then the
deal
one from
about it, but
Cruella, I
people like it.
honestly think is kind of a step down, just because it's just like, hey, look at me, I'm flamboyant and I
Well, the
wear
problem
all
is
these.
that one got all the attention, though.
Right, right. This one, I think I agree with you, Dragon. I really, really like it. I wish we didn't have to tiptoe around the actual words. That's the only thing I don't like
But
about
no,
it.
I think we expressed it really. I think we struck a really good balance with it, though. I think we did it really naturally, and I think you don't miss it. It's there. It's very
Sure, sure,
clear
sure.
what he's saying. It's not like all innuendo. It's like no, it's very clear. You know, it's.
I hear you.
I mean,
But yeah, I
between this,
really like that scene. That was one of the it was one of the best scenes in the movie for me, which for kind of like the quote unquote like woke Disney of it all, like that's saying something, it's like it's very much a step in the right direction for that kind of stuff.
let me tell you something about McGregor, though. I was dreading McGregor when he popped up at first. Like, oh no, this guy's gonna tag along because the marketing is no one. From what I recall, the marketing, like the trailer or two that I've seen for this movie, like there's none of this McGregor guy on the boat. And I was like,
Jack
oh,
Whitehall, here's the thing, Dragon. Some of the marketing that I've really liked with this movie is just The Rock, Emily Blunt, and Jack Whitehall just messing around, like being skippers on the Jungle Cruise and
huh.
playing Jungle Cruise trivia and stuff like that. So Jack Whitehall's featured pretty heavily in that stuff, but yeah, he's very absent from the trailers. You're
So
right.
when he popped up here, it was like, oh, he's going on the trip with him. He's not just gonna be like kind of like the Marcus. I thought he was gonna be like the Marcus Brody at the top, but no,
Did
he's
you have
gonna
a
be there
Mr.
for.
Plinkett like, oh no, oh no?
Well, here's the thing. Here's they undercut it real quick, which I like. So what happened is when all that luggage was coming down the dock, and it was like, oh, it's his. It's like, oh no, that's when it hit it
I
like this.
agree. I agree. That I also had the moment of like, oh god.
But then we diffused that instantly, where like, he just the Rock just tosses the toss the luggage off, except the booze, except the booze. And then basically, we really just I love the dynamic between him and the skipper that just kind of happened, like the whole the fact that it's very simple, Tiki. He likes the skipper's jokes. He's the only one who laughs at his jokes.
Yeah,
I think that's
totally,
so wonderful,
totally.
and that's when the character had the major turnaround for me. Okay, I really like this character. We're actually doing stuff with him. He's not just like the comedic sidekick who's just supposed to tag along. He's kind of like what it's kind of like, just for a Disney comparison. I get, he's the proper Englishman in the jungle where he has no place being. It's very Tarzan like. It's kind of like Jane from Tarzan, or like Jane the Professor from the Tarzan movie. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it
for
kind of
sure.
hit me in that vibe, and I really like that. So I love the fact that he's there. He's loyal to his sister because she was loyal to him during all that. So it was Lucha forges this lifelong bond and explains a very Valerie, why the heck is this guy going on triple now? We know he would never abandon her in this venture for those reasons. So it just really helps this really tacked on character actually have an arc and actually get better.
Right, and for Emily Blunt,
Yeah,
I think I think her character is pretty simple and straightforward, but I don't
with
think
one
that's a
exception.
bad thing.
I have one problem with her.
Okay.
The fact that she can't swim is BS. I can't get around that.
Yeah, I totally agree, honestly.
Utter BS. I don't care if it's a joke. The fact that you're gonna have like a big third act thing where she has to swim and like there's no struggle. She can do it. We don't explain it. It sounds like there might be a fear thing. We don't. If I recall, they don't even say what it
I was kind of
is.
expecting there to be some sort of like traumatic thing in her past
Like if her
involving
father
water.
died drowning or something.
Right,
I mean,
right,
you didn't get
yeah.
that right. I mean, I'm not crazy. I don't recall that.
No, we
I
didn't.
don't watch it.
As far as I know, we didn't get it, Dragon.
That's what I'm saying. I was expecting like okay, so she's and again we call it out. Like, so wait, you're going on a boating trip, on a cruise, but you can't
I
swim.
mean, if anything, you would think the brother character would be the one who
Yeah,
can't swim, right? And that would be like
yeah.
an obstacle for him to overcome.
It just feels like it went out of her way. Like we can't have her be good at everything because we're really feeling the raw end of that and kind of the post Ray, Star Wars of it all. We can't have her be good at
Well, you know
everything.
what? I can't really blame Disney for feeling that way, though.
Yeah, but of
Honestly,
all the things to make her not good at, it's like
yeah, in a Jungle Cruise movie.
yes.
But what I like about her, I like the pants running gag for one thing.
I'm iffy on the pants thing.
Really?
I mean, let me put it this way. There's one moment with the pants thing where I just roll my eyes completely at it, where it's like the whole like, oh, you wet your pants. So like that's a dumb joke.
I did not like that joke. I agree, but I think overall, I think the pants gag has a pretty good batting average.
I'm
I love when the Germans start referring to her as the woman in the pants.
Yeah, that everyone referring to her as pants outside of the skipper, sure. I'm just saying, if all the nicknames they give are pants, really, that's all we got.
Dragon, I watched 6 seasons of Lost where where one of the main characters gave the female main character a nickname of Freckles. So
I mean, let me put it this way: if they didn't have the thing where she calls him Skippy, I guess like if they didn't have that, then I would be more incredulous about the pants. I mean, I don't like the pants gag, but I can live with it. You know, it's like okay, well, it's that. I mean, pants and Skippy, it's kind of
okay. Well, what do you think of the running gag of her just having a mean swing?
I love the whole strong form. Family's got a strong form.
Because that was in the trailer, and I really liked that bit in the trailer. I like when I saw that bit in the trailer, I was like, okay, like that's good comedic timing. That's good like physical comedy. You know, it's like it kind of got me optimistic, and I'm glad that they kind of made a running thing out of it.
And I like that McGregor wasn't uberly stereotypical. Like, he had a strong swing too. You know, a
He
strong
did,
form. It's
yeah.
like, you know, it's like he's actually good at stuff.
All right, so Dragon, with the siblings out of the way, let's be frank.
Yeah, I think we've lifted this from another
Yes,
show, but sure.
We have. I mean, I think every time we have a character named Frank, we're just gonna do it, honestly.
Sure. So we ever talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Let's be frank.
Got to talk about Frank Reynolds. It's with that character too, right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. So Dwayne Johnson, does he even like being called The Rock anymore? What's the deal with that?
I don't think so.
It's a shame.
Like, I don't think he minds it, but like, I think he's, and you know what? I think he's earned a real name at this point. I think
whatever he wants to be called. I just want to make sure he doesn't go into like Prince territory of like all these different names and like a symbol on a card, you know?
I don't think it's that complicated, Dragon. I think
I know it's not that complicated, but it does kind of go back and forth sometimes.
right.
But anyway, so point me, Dwayne Johnson, he's having a really great time as the skipper. I mean, I love his introduction, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. You know, he's very quick-witted. I think he makes all the skipper jokes really sing. You know, that's great.
Yeah, I really think he's kind of like a great anchor for the movie. I really think his character, you know, it feels very much like a natural kind of like Indiana Jones, Brendan Fraser and the Mummy kind of like comedic lead who's a little bit rude, a little bit rough around the edges, but ultimately has a good heart.
He's got a roguish charm for sure.
Dragon, it felt like comfort food. It's like the main character equivalent of comfort food.
You know, it's the fact that it's just the fact that that the skipper here, you know, he's Dwayne Johnson. He's going to do the acrobatic swing around the ship, being very crewman-like. But you know what? He puts on that hat with pride. You know, he puts on the hat. It's just that little hat bit just kind of says all. No, he takes
totally. I love the hat and the uniform. Yeah.
That's the thing is that's what kind of conveys character in one moment for you. Okay, this guy is not just like it's not just The Rock. It's not just Dwayne Johnson just doing stuff. It's like okay, he's the skipper.
Then he's got like his leopard with him.
Yep. Well, here's the thing. I wonder if it's like a thing where both names are acceptable. But my instinct is leopard, but actually jaguar apparently.
Oh, is it a jaguar? Really?
I mean, they say jaguar.
I thought jaguars like didn't have the print.
I know it's weird because my instinct is that is unequivocally a leopard to me, but they said jaguar. Maybe they got it wrong. I don't know. But
okay, the basis I have for a jaguar is the Jungle Book with Bagheera, right? And Bagheera is just like the jet black fur as opposed to the printed fur.
Isn't Bagheera a panther, though?
You might be right.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, there's like... Okay, regardless, I mean, I'm just saying they said jaguar in the movie. All right, which that might be wrong, but I'm just saying that's what they call it, which makes me paranoid. Because like I thought I knew it. Just when I think I knew a little bit of etymology.
The Rock's got a big cat, all right?
Yes, he's got a big murder cat.
Yeah. Dragon, I really love the con artist angle to him.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, I
Jimmy vibe.
I really,
like
it. Yeah, totally. Honestly, I wish we got a little bit more of like him in this small town kind of running scams. Because you know what that very much gave me a vibe of, Dragon, is it gave me a vibe of like the actual park, which we'll get to, you know, but like the whole like that little dock, like honestly, one of the things that felt the most like the ride was just that little dock and and the little town out in the distance that felt very much like it could be Adventureland.
Yeah, it's just the fact this guy, aside from the roguish charm and the great chemistry he has with Emily Blunt, there was just this. It's like the little intricacies that you don't really know. You don't need a lot with him. Where we go to his quarters and we see the pictures of automobiles. Whereas a sea captain who dreams of land, but he can't go there for reasons that we reveal. It's just he's a character who's full of surprises and full of like, oh my god, the cat's in on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like fun surprises and fun charms to which absolutely plays into the aspect of the ride where you don't know. It's like any cast member who's taking you on the journey, whether it be the great movie ride or whether it be Jungle Cruise. There's a lot of heft and importance put on that person, and the fact that we kind of made that sing here was nice.
Sure. Dragon, before we get into the twist, I just want to point out a stylistic thing this movie did that I really liked, and I don't really know where else to talk about it. What do you think of the film reel bits?
I thought they were nice. I mean, I don't know if they really serve much of a purpose, but they're nice.
I wish they served more of a purpose than they do. There's one character from the ride I really wish was in this that we'll get to. And I have an idea for how they could have used that footage with said character. We'll get there. No. Okay, so Dragon, so why don't you explain the big M. Night Shyamalan style twist with Dwayne Johnson?
All right, so the twist is, so we set up that we had these bad guys who are essentially our cursed conquistadors from the legend that we opened the movie with. The guys pursuing the Tears of the Moon. Now, essentially, we reveal we seemingly killed off Frank. We killed the skipper. You can't kill the skipper.
We kill him off multiple times in the movie.
That we did, and that's the reveal that he is actually he is one of these conquistadors, which means he is an immortal. He is an immortal who is who's bound to the river, as in he has to remain by the river at all times, or else he turns to stone, or he turns into what these guys were before the water touched him, or he goes back just purely into the jungle, and he's turned into stone, but. Yes, the Rock's immortal, essentially. That's kind of what we're saying.
I actually like this twist quite a bit. I don't know about you.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Tiki, you know me. I love immortal characters. I do.
Uh-huh.
And again, this is another movie, though. That's the problem, because it doesn't link up with what we saw in that first half. I mean, the second half as a story on its own is a good story. I like it. I feel for the guy. I think he's got a great story, and he was the one conquistador that kind of defended the village. Ergo, he's kind of rewarded as being this skipper. But again, he's stuck by a river that he can never escape. That's some good stuff. And again, with our immortal stuff, and the immortal stuff's fun. Like we're trying to take the sword out of him. Really funny stuff. But here's what it bothers me. Okay, now that we know that he's immortal, we've taken out a lot of the charm that we built in that first half. Where we had like this really crafty character who again is kind of puts himself in danger and everything, but now knowing he was in no danger at all this whole time, why doesn't he just punch Giamatti and take the keys if he gets shot, nothing bad's going to happen to him. See, that's what really hurts that first half for me. It's not a bad direction to go, but not when you've set up all this really cool stuff that we liked in the first half.
One thing I like about the twist in a meta perspective is, there's been a lot of jokes made about how repetitive being a Jungle Cruise skipper would be. And I don't know, Dragon, I still think it'd be an awesome job to have. And to me, it still might be a dream job of mine. It's certainly not a lucrative career by any means, but just as a job, just as something that you're getting paid to do. I don't know. It doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion.
Well, some of the greats have been skippers.
But I do think that the twist kind of plays into kind of the whole, once you're on the Jungle Cruise, it's just oh, and we're gonna go on the same cruise again and again and again and again and again.
Oh, you're right. That's interesting.
It's kind of it kind of legitimizes the endless loop of the life of being a Jungle Cruise skipper in a way.
I mean, Tiki, you're right about that. It's just, I mean, even with what we have, it's just like he doesn't really. We don't really dwell on that though. We don't really have him talk about like, yeah, I just have. Like, we don't understand fully why he's a skipper outside like a line. Just like, well, I just figured I'd be a skipper. It's like I didn't really get the hear him talk, but I get
Yeah,
like the same.
tourists. Tourists came around the area.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I like that. I love that idea, and I love that as a concept. But again, if we ran with that at the start, might be if we did almost like a Palm Springs thing, where he's just doing the same thing again and again and again, or I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But again, that's a different movie, which I get why we didn't do that. It's just, well, again, it's now a retroactive thing where there's like a whole nother Jungle Cruise we could have had. We saw like the diverging variant of the Jungle Cruise movie halfway through the Jungle Cruise movie.
Sure.
Which is kind of weird, but you're right though. It is. I mean, it's a nice way of kind of adding pathos to the attractions. I mean, I don't want to poo-poo the idea too much. It's just incongruous. Which now I'm in a loop.
Now transitioning, Dragon. I thought the conquistadors were too much.
Yeah, I absolutely. Here's the thing. I was there for the movie up until the basically zombified supernatural villains.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, hello, rejected Pirates of the Caribbean villains. All right.
It was just a bridge too far.
And in this corner, folks, we have 3 lovely contestants for you. Da 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 da.
This is where.
In this corner, we have Snake Man.
This corner, we got B Guy.
And then Mud Man with the power of mud.
And the Tree Guy. Was there a 4th Tree Guy? Or is the Tree Guy also built in with the Snake Guy? I don't know.
Okay, Dragon, that being said, I did like the B Guy.
I mean, it terrified me, but sure.
It terrified me too, but like from a visual point of view, I thought it was a really creative choice. And you know what? I will give credit to the snake guy because my grandma is deathly afraid of snakes, and my God, I don't think I've ever seen her squirm in her seat so much in a movie theater. So I had fun with that.
I mean, look. So here's where I come down to Conquistadors. I mean, It's a bridge too far because we didn't need supernatural villains when we're doing just fine up to this point.
We got the Flemings, man.
Flemings, exactly. Yeah. And here's the thing: I think what we would have had already is okay. You got Flemings, and you have perhaps the jungle symbolically as the force in the way of the adventure. Like perhaps like there's like the jungle does not want them to go here. It's sanctified territory. Don't go here. We put them in the butter churner. That whole thing. The big waterfall. Like I think the jungle itself could be represented in interesting ways, maybe in a antagonistic route, but we didn't have to literally make it like. And there are jungle-fied villains.
Right,
they're all supernatural, totally. and they're coming. Don't worry, I like Clemens petting the snake as much as the next guy, but it just doesn't, it's and you're getting directions from bees, but I don't think we need those as sentient creatures. Cool.
Okay,
I mean
the bees though. I did like the bees in regards to like they're kind of like a symbol of Clemens going crazy on the submarine.
Yeah.
Like that made me laugh. Just the idea that like Clemens is just like slowly getting cabin fever.
Yeah, like again, like the other guys, like he's just nodding and he's getting like intimations from the bees, like nodding up and down and left to right. That's really funny. I mean, it's just Tiki. It's like I can applaud the designs of like okay, these characters who are basically comprised of jungle things, which the bees and the snakes I think play a lot better than the other stuff, but it just feels it's just too much.
I definitely think we could have cut out the Mudman and the Tree Guy for sure.
Yeah, and here's something else. I call utter BS on something with these guys, with the motivation. Okay. I go BS on the fact of like, hey, let's kill the tribe that saved us and can still help us save my daughter. I'm just going to stab this guy because he says I'm not the guy for the job. I mean, maybe I could convince him. Maybe one of the other guys in my pack could do it. Nope, I'm going to stab him. And it's not like accidentally. Imagine how much more tragic it'd be like if you accidentally killed the guy and then you're cursed. Like, no, you like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him, but the Rock's a nice guy, so he's not gonna kill him.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's what I'm saying. I got problems with the lore on that one. So, but again, honestly, that's what I'm saying. If we could excise these supernatural bad guys, I'd like the movie a lot more.
All right. So I already anything else to say on Clemens?
Well, again, Clemens, I love like, we have like a, kind of a cruise line, kind of a humble boat versus a German submarine. I think that's a really cool idea in terms of going and seeing that how the boat triumphs over the submarine. I think he was just right in the commitment to the role. As I said, like he's going for the full on for the absurd. Like he's petting a little snake, and he's communicating with bees. And I love like the tea pleasantries. He's offering tea.
Right, right.
I will admit one thing though. There was one gag on the sub when he had McGregor. I think we dragged out the age old joke about the accent of like, come on, really, he couldn't. McGregor couldn't understand jungle out of this guy.
Yeah,
It's like if
yeah,
it were
yeah.
any other word, maybe, but jungle. It's like if it weren't in the movie's title. But yeah, I mean, yes, it was. I thought he really won me over the top. I love the interactions he had with her at the top when they were going through the arrowhead. That's what I'm saying. This guy felt like, okay, Plums is playing it like an indie villain, which is really cool. That's awesome.
Uh-huh. For
Like
sure,
just
for
over
sure.
the top enough.
Okay, and finally, Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, Mr. Nilo.
You know what? Like I said, Dragon, I wish we got a little bit more development on Frank up front, and like I don't mind that Giamatti just kind of like disappears from the movie, but I don't know. I would have liked to like one or two more scenes, kind of establishing him a bit more.
I like that he got the boat in the end, though, like a little wreckage of
Yeah,
the boat,
yeah.
and he seemed to be content with it. I don't know what the read was of it. He kind of looked like a little content with it. It was like, okay, I got the boat.
It's certainly a more dignified performance than like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or something like that. So
Yeah, sure. So, also the just this runner, just these, he's fun. He's over the top, like Frank. He's always yelling Frank.
yeah, yeah.
We shoot at him, we destroy his pier. It's about
Right.
right.
So with the ride references, Dragon, there's honestly not a ton of them, but let's go over. I would say probably like the best scene of the movie, which is Frank's introduction and
Yeah,
the tour.
absolutely.
Because
Easily my favorite.
it's pretty much just the ride in movie form.
It's just so darn clever, Tiki. It's such a great idea to introduce Frank's character via the Jungle Cruise, and just with such loving reverence, and just like in the Rock's, sorry, Dwayne Johnson's delivery. I keep going with the Rock because it's easy. It's easier to say, but the point being, Johnson's delivery is great. Again, he does feel like a guy who's done this so many times, which we now know unequivocally he's done so many times. And his delivery is just so on point. Yet he has to say the cheesy dad jokes, which are hilarious. Which again, the skippers are so insistent upon them. Like, oh, I'm only serious. There's really, really, really nice stuff. Really, really cute stuff there.
There is an original headhunter prop in the opening scene in the museum.
Really.
Yeah, like it's a full. I believe it's a full headhunter animatronic.
Something I really liked. I love the nod to the Disney train because that takes you to the Jungle Cruise.
Ah, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, Dragon,
What?
gotta be a little corrective with you here.
Really?
Um, yeah. There's no station at Adventureland.
Are you sure? I mean, it's not. I could have sworn like I might be
Positive.
thinking of. See, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the behind the attraction thing where it shows you that map, and it's just so close by. I assume there was a platform. But I guess
Dragon,
you're
there's
right.
the train goes right behind the Jungle Cruise, so it's very close to the Jungle Cruise, and I still think it's a reference.
Yeah.
I still think it's a clever way they worked it in, but there's no actual train station in Adventureland.
Wouldn't it be nice if there were though?
As far as I know, the Walt Disney World one goes from Main Street to Frontierland, and then the Disneyland one goes from Main Street to New Orleans Square.
Right.
Anyways,
Oh, wishful think. But it's a nice idea though. What they're
yeah,
going
yeah,
to do,
yeah,
like the train takes you to this kind of the Disney wonderment that you're about to
totally.
incur. It's
And
a,
like
it's
I
a
said,
nice
the
touch.
town in itself very much feels like just kind of like a prototypical Adventureland. You know what I mean?
Right. So I just love again with that introduction, like it's built on the
Of course, we get the
experience.
backside of water. The hippo was awesome.
Yep. Just kind of the period version of the animatronic, the
Yep.
hippo, and the fact that he's doing all this to wow folks, but also scare some cash out of them on the side, which is really funny.
Right, right, right.
Let's see. Oh,
Um,
by the way, did you notice a WandaVision alumni in the opening?
No, I didn't. I don't think
So
so.
David Lingle, I believe his name is Harold from WandaVision. He was the one with the mustache, the one who looks
Oh,
like
okay.
David Schwimmer.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was. They put him in there for any of the WandaVision fans out there.
I'm sure once I go back and rewatch it, I'll recognize him.
Yeah, Dottie's husband. Remember the guy with the
Oh,
mustache?
yeah,
Dottie's
I
husband.
know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
So the Headhunters Dragon.
Yeah. So what do you? How do you feel about Trader Sam's representation in the movie?
Yeah, I like the Headhunters overall. I like that they went there with them. I like that they actually called it Headhunter territory. I thought that was bold, and that we had the line, "It's a terrible place to be headed." That was one of my favorite joke callbacks from the ride.
I just love they put all those jokes in this movie. I just love it so much.
Dragon, I'm not. I don't
Well, they
know
put
how
a
to
whole
say
bunch
it.
of them in there. Maybe not all of them, but they put a number
I'm
of the
not a
jokes
huge
in there,
fan of
didn't
how
they?
they turned Trader Sam into a girl boss.
Oh,
I don't know. It's fine.
do
It's
we?
just not.
I know nothing about. I barely anything about Trader Sam. So tell me about
Here's the
Trader
thing:
Sam.
nobody really knows anything about Trader Sam, so it's not like it's inaccurate. It's just not how I pictured the character.
Well, let me
And
ask you this.
yeah,
Okay, so I was going in the movie. I had a thought because again, there was a lot of stir about how the heck they were going to. Maybe not a whole lot of stir. I mean, you speculating it for a moment probably is the stir I'm interpreting here. But the question of they got someone big to play Trader Sam. So when I saw Giamatti for a moment until we got the Mr. Nilo thing, I thought, oh, is he Trader Sam?
oh, if Giamatti was Trader Sam, fuck me, man. That'd be perfect.
Did you have that in the movie though? Before we said Mr. Nilo, did you think for a moment, oh, that's Trader Sam?
Maybe. I like not really, not in the moment, but like I wish I did because that would have been a fleeting rush of adrenaline.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the idea that he's got this dynamic with the headhunters, but especially Trader Sam of the
I was
group.
kind of hoping for someone like Jack Black or someone, honestly.
No way, Jack Black would have. Oh wait, actually, maybe he could have been. Yeah, it's given the whole Jumanji of it all. Yeah, he could have got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, he's kind of got the wild man look going on right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought Trader Sam was fine, but I thought just the whole idea of and she's a woman. To me, it felt a lot more preachy than the gay representation did. Honestly,
I don't really think it felt that pretty. I just think it just happened to be okay. Well, we're lumping Trader Sam into the tribe, so.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being really. Like I said, it's just not how I pictured the character.
Just tell me this: Trader Sam has an outpost, right?
Yes.
So that's probably why it would Is it at all tribal, the outpost?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so that's what I'd imagine the discrepancy would be. Is that Trader Sam be more like a guy like a Giamatti who would run an establishment? But
right,
then again,
exactly. Yeah.
if it is a very tribal location, then,
I picture Trader Sam to be kind of a civilized guy who's got an eccentric streak to him, almost like a Joe Rody type, to tell you the truth.
Right. Yeah.
But
got the earring, right?
Yeah. Yes, the guy with the earring.
Yeah, they got the huge, the big earring. Yeah.
Can't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the setup for the tribe that we have, the fake ones that are paid at the top, just to kind of put the fear in people is they're shooting come on guys, come on, don't get so close when you're shooting the arrows. They're shooting the.
Then we have the real tribe that he's got a working relationship with.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I love about it. That's great. Just the fact that he's in with both tribes, the fake one and the real one.
Yeah. And then let's see what other.
Well, you said animal stuff, so we have Proxima, obviously, which we already kind of talked about.
There's the anaconda in the tree. That's definitely there. The piranhas. That's definitely from the Disneyland version of the ride specifically. Of course, the backside of water. Need to give that a shout out.
Yes, the backside of water was, and again, it's just the fact that yet again, built on the experience to wow folks, the eighth wonder of the world,
and the fact that we named off Schweizer Falls as well.
Yeah. Seriously, I just love how he's just selling the backside of water. It's just the Dwayne Johnson milking the charm. The backside of water.
Dragon, did you see the video of Dwayne Johnson being a Jungle Cruise skipper?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you should watch it. It's totally
I'll look into it.
delightful. And
Oh, I'll look into
he
it.
nails it. He nails it.
Well, I would hope so. Otherwise, he'd be horribly miscast.
Well, yeah. Anyways.
Oh yeah, it's the whole setup in that opening is just wonderful. I don't mean to keep dovetailing back to it, but with Proxima though, I like the idea that with the Immortal angle, there's been a whole lot of Proximas over the years, and it keeps naming them Proxima. But
I did like that idea too. Yeah,
takes in the
definitely not
strays.
something that's in the attraction, but very much a good idea.
Yeah, and of course, like the Murder Cat arc with McGregor is really nice. Where like anyone in their right mind would be terrified of this thing. It's half the reason he got the job, because they saved him from the. It's such a great idea too. They had this fake fight with the Jaguar to get the job.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I will say that I think I wish there were a few more visual references. Like I wish we would have gotten stuff like the trap safari and the gorillas trashing the camp and stuff like that. I really think those things could have like worked their way in pretty naturally. Like I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean did a better job with that kind of stuff.
Right.
But Dragon, let me tell you about the one character I was disappointed they didn't work in, and that character is Albert AWOL.
Albert AWOL.
Yeah, he's the DJ. He's the jungle DJ in the queue.
Wait, there's a DJ in the queue?
Or not a DJ, but like a radio announcer.
Like a shock jock.
Yeah, a radio DJ is what I mean. He's the voice over the radio.
Oh, okay, I got you. That makes sense. Okay.
I really, and Dragon, here's the thing. I really think the one missed opportunity we got with this movie, Albert AWOL kind of being a key piece of this whole thing is, in the ride, there's very much, and actually the new refurbishment of the ride kind of like builds upon this even more, but there's very much a lore of like, there's a whole bunch of skippers, and being a skipper is like, kind of like a, like a real, like this community, like, you know what I mean? There's a big community element to the skipper thing in the ride. At Disney World, you also have the Skipper Canteen, which extends it, which extends the theme. I wish there were more skippers. I wish there was more of a community of skippers. That's one thing. That's one thing. And granted, I think you probably would have had to rework the movie a little bit because part of Dwayne Johnson's character is that he's isolated. But I don't know. That's the one thing I missed from the DNA of the ride is the fact that we've got this kind of like eccentric community of skippers that kind of like play practical jokes on each other and goof around, but still take their job really seriously and are really proud of their work. And Dragon Albert AWOL kind of encapsulates that. And so when I saw the film reel footage being filmed, I kind of thought like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if she turned all this film reel footage in and then we got like an Albert AWOL newsreel? But no, never happened. Never happened. Dragon, I wanted an Albert AWOL cameo so bad. It was honestly like the one thing on my bingo card that I was really hoping to fill out. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit just because I feel like it would have been easy to work him in. Like, just at some point have a radio in the background or have a news broadcast and name drop the guy, He doesn't have to be a main character, though I think he could have worked as a main character. But I don't know. You see what I'm saying about like how the community of skippers thing feels like it's the one thing that's missing from this?
Well, two things. Okay, so one, I see the opening for the skippers in which, at the top, the idea Giamatti's the harbor master and, the idea he owns all the boats. Ergo, he has connections with all the skippers. So perhaps if we establish there was competition.
Glad you brought that up because, yeah, we do see multiple boats, yeah.
So perhaps at the top in that section, had we established that there was other competition and that's why he was kind of lucked into this job and hence the Jaguar to cinch the deal. Perhaps we could have done that there. Now, as far as this, hit me with the radio DJ's name one more time.
Albert AWOL.
Albert AWOL. As far as AWOL goes, I'm pretty sure the reason they don't do AWOL is just for the kind of the synergy of the ending. Where okay, we lift the curse and it's kind of a little happy, kind of to do that goes to London. We can't take AWOL with us.
Right, right. I hear you.
Now we wouldn't have much of if he's a long distance character. We can only do so much with him.
I mean, maybe turn the brother into Albert AWOL. Maybe have the brother be, maybe have that be the brother's profession.
I mean,
maybe,
yeah, if we
like maybe
him,
that
sure.
maybe one of the reasons he's following his sister is because he's trying to get a news report.
I mean, sure. Again, if we rewrote it to just rename that character, then you're right. That's absolutely how we could do that character. I mean, if that would float your boat, so to speak.
It would float my boat. Oh, by the way, Dragon, there's wordplay and transitions. There's a very delicious looking backside of water float that that Walt Disney World is serving right now, and it looks, oh my god, it looks great.
Oh wait. So a float like a root beer float or something?
All I know is it's got like vanilla ice cream and then kind of like a blue frosting drizzle, like a waterfall. Huh. And I assume some sort of soda.
And I wish The Rock would do an advertisement for that. I wish you could just see Dwayne Johnson just like
backside of water.
Is a refreshing way to end your visit to the Jungle Cruise.
All right. But yeah,
you have the alcoholic version that you give to Proxima, so Proxima gets as drunk as a skunk.
Oh my god! Trying to think of any other callbacks or anything maybe that I wish.
Well, we didn't do the totem pole climb this time. I know
that's
that
what
much.
I'm saying. I said that the trap safari. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a good place to have Plemons.
Trying to think, the skipper. On the Jungle Cruise, don't we arm the skipper so they can shoot the thing, basically signal? And we didn't do that here, right?
No, we did. He shot it. He shot at the hippo.
Well, oh yeah. Well, that's I'm sorry. I mean, I know. Yeah, so he shoots at the hippo for that, but I mean, like on the actual adventure, he doesn't shoot the gun, right? It's just a prop gun.
Yeah, but what I got the sense of is like in the intro with Dwayne Johnson, he's shooting a prop gun as well.
That's fine. I'm sorry, but that's perfectly cool too. I'm sorry. I was just wondering, perhaps any more correlation of events in the movie that linked up with events from the ride. But you're right. We do that there. I love how we call out the anachronism of the hippo. That's hilarious. The little girl. It says, "Wait, hippos aren't native."
Well, that's another thing about the ride, Dragon, is that the geography of the ride is all sorts of messed up. It's all over the place.
Yeah, if you don't alert the skipper, you're gonna get impaled on.
All right, but yeah, that's about it as far as references and callbacks and stuff go.
Yeah,
like I said, the community element, like I really do think if we would have spent like maybe like even 10 minutes more in that initial town, maybe had like a rival for Dwayne Johnson, and maybe seen like a few other skippers too, like maybe Dwayne Johnson's like friendly with most of the skippers, but there's one rival or something. I don't know.
Yeah, one played by John Cena.
Oh god! Oh yeah, totally. Oh my god, that would work. There you go. Sequel,
or better yet, the better version, Terry Crews.
Oh my god!
See, Terry Crews would be perfect for the Jungle Cruise.
But Dragon, overall, I do think that we can kind of recycle some of the ideas from this movie as we dip our toe into a potential C cinematic universe, which I know they're experimenting around with, because I believe Disney Plus is going to be doing a C show.
Wait, what? They are?
I'm pretty sure that's in the works.
All right.
So yeah, I'm very much hoping that with this movie, I don't think it's going to do any favors in regards to getting other like attraction to movie adaptations made.
I mean, look, if we didn't do Kingdom Keepers, I don't think we're ever going to make that happen. Honestly, I mean, yeah.
There is a new Haunted Mansion movie coming out, and I'm not stoked for it, but I am stoked for Muppet Haunted Mansion. So
we all are, Tiki. We all are.
I know. Any other observations, Dragon, or should we just end this off?
I think we've reached the end of the cruise, friendo. Unless you want to make any more Terry Crews jokes, then yeah.
All right. Well, folks, if you enjoyed this podcast, then My name is Tiki, and this has been the So You Want to Be an Imagineer YouTube channel. If you didn't enjoy this podcast, well, my name's not really important now, is it? Have a good day, folks.
The backside of water.
But it's the eighth wonder of the world!